Hey YouTubers, today we're dealing with a Kenmore electric dryer that is no longer heating up. So this will be pretty easy to fix. We're just going to do some different diagnostic steps to figure out what's preventing it from heating. Could be a bad heating element or it might be one of the high limits. So we got it unplugged and now we're using standard head screwdriver to press down on this clip on the front left and front right corners so we can get the lower panel off. We just lift it up off of its lower clips. I'll go ahead and open up the door, remove the filter, get that out of there. Now I'm using 1/4 inch driver to remove a couple of screws on the filter housing. There's one here in this corner. And now I can pull the ducting out and clean out any lint that might be there. I've got a multi-tester set up to test continuity. I'm going to test a couple of the high limits to see if one of them might have got too hot and blown, kind of like a fuse, which would cut the power to the heating element. So got it unplugged, and now I'm checking, see if I have any resistance. And I've got to check the element here. These two wires go to the element. I should get a beep showing that there's continuity. And then I've got one in the back behind that, another one that has two little terminals. I'm going to check that. That's another high limit. That's usually the one that blows when you lose the heat. But you can also have a situation where the electric heater doesn't work because the element, the big spring, has broken. So we tested that. That was okay. We're just trying to reach back there to test that one in the back. Again, usually that's the one that, on this model, that will cause it to stop heating. Just putting my probes on that. You can get these electric testers from Amazon for about $12, and they have a continuity one that helps you to see if these little switches and high limits are still working. So it sounds like that one there in the back is no longer working, so we're going to remove that one and replace it. I'm just going to wiggle the wires off of it. You might need to use a pair of pliers. And while I've got this ducting off, I'm going to go ahead and clean out all this crud in here. So that's the reason that high limit blew, is there was so much lint that had built up that the dryer couldn't get rid of the heat fast enough because the airflow was so messed up, and that caused it to overheat. So rather than the dryer catching on fire, it has these safety mechanisms that trip. But they are like a fuse. You have to actually replace them. You can't reset them, unfortunately. Just taking a picture of how big of a chunk of lint came out of there. I've got my flashlight set, and I've got a 1/4 inch driver on a ratchet. I'll use that to take out a couple of screws that are holding on that high limit. It's a little hard to get to this since it's back there. There's not a lot of room to move around, but you can do it if you have a little ratchet. And these high limit pieces are really cheap. You can get them on Amazon. If you're in a pinch and you have to get them to work, if you slam them down against the concrete, they can actually reset, but it's better to replace them. So here we go. And we're going to do a test right now. So we're not getting any reading out of this one. So this one is blown. I'm just smacking it down now against the concrete. You have to do it pretty hard. And usually it'll reset. You might have to try it a few times. holding it with a pair of pliers. So if you do that reset and you do get it to beep again, that means it will work. It means current will flow through it. There we go. So we're getting a reading now. So that one is actually working. So if we reinstall that now, it's going to work and it won't blow again because we cleared out all that lint that was causing it to overheat. So we're just putting it back in position. We're going to put the screws back in and then tighten them up with that 1/4 inch drive. So you can either do that manual reset that we did or you can replace it. But you have to figure out why it blew. And in our case, it was just the filter ducting was just so full of stuff. So I'm putting the ducting back up in there and then I'm going to add the screws to hold it. These are just 1/4 inch screws. One in that corner. All right, and the filter's pretty dirty. We'll clean that up too. Put that back in. Flip it around. There we go. Plug it back in, make sure it's going to work. It's a 220 volt outlet with the big plug. Turn it on. We can see that the heating element's starting to glow nice and bright. So that's great. We can go ahead and put the lower panel back on. We're going to put it on the little clips on the bottom first. Clean up any lint that might be on there. And that did the trick. Thanks so much for watching.